I've been trying my best not to think about you, but you're stuck in my mind. I've been hypnotized by you. Hey, all the suffering and pain got me feeling so blue. Cause when it was us, I was never enough. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, yeah.
You know we were gonna have a dance party before you come out, right? Dance you into the show.
Yeah.
I've been worrying about my mental.
What's good, everyone? How you doing? James Hicks here with another episode, H&M Live. This is where we get into it. We talk to folks that are out there making a change, making a difference, doing something exciting with their lives. And I tell you what, you got a treat coming at you here in a second. Zoey Berghoff, someone who I met a number of months ago. She works for one of the fitness organizations that I was affiliated with, and then I was backsliding a little bit, so I think that she kicked me off of the squad. We might talk about that too. But she's a personal finance and Airbnb host and coach. Zoey began coaching others after applying the same habits and steps in her own life, showing young adults the impact and importance of investing in their future and how it can change the direction of the opportunities in their life. I really love just that opening statement, right? She's focused on the young adults, focused on young individuals. So there were some asks for this particular conversation within the community, which is why I'm bringing Zoey to you today. She speaks from experience as it relates to all the possibilities of owning your finances, owning your investments, being financially smart, being able to take that money, make it grow, and things of that nature. So we're going to chop it up a little bit. If you've got any questions for Zoey, not for me. She's the expert here, right? I'm not even going to be on camera much, but please put them to her. If you're watching us live, that would be amazing. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Zoey Berghoff, how you living?
Hello, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
I appreciate you for taking the time to come and chop it up with the community for a little bit. A very relevant couple of topics that we're going to dive in. But before we do that, I'd be remiss if I didn't let you tell the folks your story. Who is Zoey Berghoff?
Yeah, so I am, like James said, a personal finance and Airbnb coach, and I only coach from experience. So I've done it myself, and that's why I started coaching others. So I started owning my finances when I was in college, and I saw the habits and skills I was doing actually working and create net worth that was beyond what most had at 22, 23 years old. And then we started Airbnb about a year and a half ago. And I started seeing interest and people wanted to know about it. It's a new industry and not a lot of people are talking about how to get into it, what the management looks like, what the payouts look like, and what the time is. So I personally coach and consult with those looking to own their personal finances better and also invest in Airbnb for the long term.
Y'all heard that, right? Look, I'm just going to pause right there, right? Just to talk about first the age, right? Someone at your young age who's got it dialed in, right? Knowing what's important in terms of owning your own property, owning and being in front of your finances, that's incredibly important. And first of all, as me being the old seasoned guy here on the camera, I want to applaud you for making those moves early on.
Thank you.
Let me ask you though, what is the why? You know, what is it of the why that got you started focusing on investing, focused on entrepreneurship, you know, as opposed to doing other things and going other avenues and other forks in the road? Why did you feel that was important for someone like you at such an early time?
Yeah, I really don't think when I started, I realized what it was going to become, which, everyone starts like that, I think. So I my mom was an accountant growing up. She always talked numbers. She always talked money. So money was not a foreign thing in our household. I was very used to hearing about it and talking about it. But I did know subconsciously that I didn't want to have to worry about it and I didn't want it to become a stress in my life. And you can really implement key habits and skills at a young age that will keep money out of a stressor as your life. And that's what I started doing. I just started tracking my expenses when I was 19, which most 19-year-olds are not doing that. But it was purely out of interest. No one told me to do it. I just was like, I wonder
Yeah.
how much I cost to live. And that kind of just skewed into watching YouTube videos and blogs and reading financial books that could teach you that people weren't talking about, more things that anyone was willing to share. Your friends and your family aren't the ones talking about money. It's those who are coaching others and writing books on it. So I think it really stemmed to my why was I wanted to do it for myself and create financial stability independently as myself. And people started asking me, well, what about this credit card? Why should I do this
Mm.
one? What about this high yield savings account? So every coaching consultation I offer is because there was a demand for it. And people started coming to me and asking me for it. And I started providing it. And it stemmed into the Airbnb world where a lot of the things I share on TikTok is Airbnb related. And people wanted to know how to get started, how to manage their own property better than they were. And consultations became available at that point.
Yeah.
So my why was I was doing it for myself, but I saw others wanted to know how to do it. And I love helping others in their journey as well.
I love that. So during the day, that TV behind me is locked in on CNBC. So I'm right there with you, right? Me and Kelly Evans and John Ford, we get along real well right there on that screen. But I love the fact again that you're focusing on your generation and focusing on making them self-sufficient from a financial perspective. I follow you on all the social platforms too, and what you're doing on TikTok, besides when you're out there enjoying life, traveling to Tahiti and Montana, all that good stuff. You're living, but you're incredibly engaging. And tell me why you think it matters that you're posting this type of content to TikTok, to Instagram, because I have my reasonings and my rationale for it, but you seem to have it dialed in, right, in terms of the messages that you're putting out and the usage of technology. Talk to us a little bit about why you're using social media to spread your message.
Yeah, so I have worked in social media for a number of years, so I am familiar with what it does for brands and why that awareness is necessary. When it comes to my own social media, I truly share what I wish someone else was sharing. I talk about things that no one else is talking about that I know of. I share tips and tricks that I wish I knew when we started Airbnb. I share things that when I was 21 or 20, I wish I saw once upon a time on my scrolling feed. So I really listen to my audience and the people that follow me, which I'm so grateful for. And I provide them the content they're asking for rather than what I think they want to see. I let them tell me what they want to see, which is kind of the course of how my entire business has come about. People asked about financials and coaching them. So I created a course for that. People started asking me about Airbnb more in depth than I could explain in a 60-second TikTok. So I started consulting with people on a 30-minute basis or to an hour basis. So it really starts with providing them things that they're asking for and they can't find elsewhere.
So there's a little master class right there in content creation as well, right? Taking yourself out of the equation and giving your community what it is that they want, right? Because you could post whatever it is that you want to, right? Whatever is important to you. But if your
Yep.
community didn't want to hear it, didn't think it was important, yeah, you wouldn't have the engagement, the influence, and the following that you have. So that's pretty cool too. That you know that piece, right, from a content creation and delivery perspective. To take ourselves out of it, and it's really the audience and the community that makes more sense. Um, I want to dive into some of the best practices, maybe some ideas that you have, and let's start with finance, and then we'll go and kind of
Mhm.
into Airbnb. But I guess what are kind of the biggest challenges that you see people put in front of themselves when it comes to finance and investing?
Yeah, so the biggest issue I would say I come across, and it's 100% okay because I didn't do it forever either. But people don't know how much they cost to live. And that can be a big flaw because if you don't know how much you cost to live, you don't know how much of a salary you need to accept, you don't know
Mm,
how much you need to negotiate, you don't know how much you need to save for your emergency savings account because that consists of 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So it really comes down to the basics of people don't want to look at the numbers face to face and they're afraid of what that's going to look like. And I promise everyone I work with, they say, like, I track my credit card expenses and I have an idea of how much I cost. And I say, that's great. And then let's put into an expense tracker for 30 days. And every single person is absolutely shocked at what they cost.
yeah.
And it's not to shame you on what you're buying, it's not to shame you on how much you cost, but you need to be realistic with this number. If you think you only cost 2,000, but you cost 4, there's going to be a lot of variables that come into play in the future that will become an issue of yours. So that is something I preach with personal finances. And going into the Airbnb world, I track our Airbnb expenses the exact same way I track my personal expenses.
Okay.
And if you can't keep track of $100, you can't keep track of $100,000. It's just the way it is.
Wow.
You have to start small. So who knew that when I started tracking my expenses at 19, that it would come into play with an Airbnb business to make sure we're profiting every month. Our expenses are being covered by what the Airbnb is bringing in. So that is something that it's cross paths in both personal finance and Airbnb, but it is as simple as an Excel sheet that tracks how much you cost in 30 days.
Folks, Zoe said, if you can't track yourself at $100, how you gonna track yourself at $100,000? She's coming here dropping gems. We only been talking for 10 minutes, people. So I hope you're getting some value from this conversation. I see a lot of people watching from the different social networks. So look, if you got questions, she is today's subject matter expert, and I'm taking notes of this as well. The Wealth Masterclass. Is that something that is still available to folks to sign up for?
Yes, it is. So it is open enrollment. I do have anyone who applies for the Wealth Masterclass, we jump on a quick 10-minute call because I want to make sure what I offer and provide is actually fitting along with your future goals and what you're looking for. I would never work with someone that doesn't need me or has things figured out or could go to another coach elsewhere and they would do better. So the Wealth Masterclass is 12 weeks. We work together. We do personal calls. We go through your expenses. You get free resources to work with. So things are half done for you. And you get weekly modules with myself, video, text, actionable takeaways. So everything that I did in 4 years is condensed into 12 weeks for you. So it's definitely a time saver. And I've worked with a handful of people that are in college, graduated, just accepted a salary job, getting married, have passive incomes, multiple incomes in their household, and they all take different takeaways from it. And it's amazing. It's my favorite part of what I do is talking and working with the actual individuals on a biweekly and monthly basis.
Love it. Love it. And let me ask this because I don't want to assume, because I know your focus is on younger folks, but is this open to anyone? Can an old 51-year-old
Yeah.
guy like my still sign up for this?
Yeah, so I actually have a few clients I work with who, have been married, have been divorced, have kids. They're trying to rework their single life expenses and what that looks like. So
Interesting.
I feel
Okay, I
very,
like that.
yeah, yeah, I feel like honored and grateful that people feel that they can come to me with this open information. Everything is confidential and we work together. And it's really cool to see the different takeaways. Some people take mindset takeaways. Some people have debt plans that they can actually achieve within the year. So there's we don't just talk money. We don't just talk mindset. It's a, 2-in-1 duo.
I love it. I love it. Mr. Allen's got to see. There we go. Teenage daughters listening. I will make sure to have your content and your links in the show notes so folks can reach out to you for sure. Let's go into some of the Airbnb host and coach types of activities, because so selfishly I'm completely interested in that, because what I've seen you do in the short period of time. Yeah, I'm spying on you. Well, not spying on you, but I follow you because we work together. But I'm intrigued by what it is that you've done in such a short period of time, right? And been able to not flip them, but turn them into viable investments and also locations for people. So talk to a little bit about what you're doing with Airbnb.
Yeah, so we started Airbnb a year and a half ago. And I always like to tell people it literally started with a simple idea of we were living in a unique glamping experience. And we traveled on the weekends because we love to hike and travel. And we had the simple idea of we should put this on Airbnb for the weekends when we're gone. So we opened it up from Thursday to Sunday. And if someone booked it, we moved out of the place and we just traveled like we would anyways, but someone was now paying for our travels or paying for the cost to live in that place for that month. So within 2 weeks, we had bookings come through, which we were then realizing, okay, now what do we do to Airbnb manage? We started with a simple idea. We didn't have the tips and tricks we know now. We didn't have the tips and tricks I now share with people who are getting started, which would have been very beneficial. So a lot of these things we had to learn the hard way, and it took a year and a half to do. About 6 months into the first Airbnb property, we then put up the second one, which the two together have surpassed what we ever expected. It has replaced like what a full-time income would produce. And the workload is truly 1 to 5 hours a week. I know it's like hard to believe, but it really does not require that much work, but it pays out like you're working full time
You're
for
what I
most, you know.
what I see you do, you're doing most of the time just cleaning up after folks leave, right? But and there's always cashing checks, folks. And this is reality. This is not one of those things that folks can't achieve and folks can't do. And I really wanted to have you, someone again, your demographic in here talking about it because there is no stopping us, right? There's no
Mhm.
reason for us not being able to move forward. And if our dream is to be an entrepreneur, if our dream is to own property, to be financially sound, like those kinds of things, I'm really loving just the lens that we have right now here, right? You and me talking, and I'm looking for your properties on Airbnb, but I want to make sure that if I pull them up, it doesn't show that you're a bad host, or you're a good host, right? I don't want to get any bad reviews. So if I looked it up, where should I go if I looked at Airbnb? Good to see you,
Yeah,
JP. I see you, brother. Hey, if you're looking for financial coaching or an Airbnb host and coach, Zoey is your person here.
yes, I
So
am.
I'm gonna put you on
Yeah,
the spot here, okay? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Here we go. Where should I go?
so you can go to it is Glenwood Springs, and you're gonna have to open probably dates in November. So we're gonna have to do November because we are probably booked in October.
I love that. Keep talking. We're already booked, right? So, so
Yeah, so just like a random 3 days in November. There you go. That'll work.
okay.
Um,
And where am I going?
Glenwood Springs, Colorado would be
The
correct.
last time I was going somewhere, I was going to Vegas. What's up with that? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yep, there you go. And then you're gonna want to do six because the home will fit six, so it should show you
I heard
the
that.
correct home. We're playing the name of the game with Airbnb. You know, you never know where you're gonna show up. So scroll down and I will tell you which one to stop at. Keep going. Keep going. Let's see what's in November 15th. Keep going. So we're seeing, Superhost. You can see some of these houses have 20, 70, hundreds of reviews.
Yeah.
So this is, some tips and tricks with Airbnb is your reviews are going to have a big part in regards to how you perform and where you show up on the page. Also, there's a ton of variables that decide how you show up and what you show up for who. But keep going. I'm going to see, we're on like the outskirts of town. So I'm going to see if it's
And
going
talk
to
to
show
us
you.
just
Let's
a
try
little bit about
Casey.
that classification of superhost versus someone who doesn't have that. Is it just the more times folks have reserved that property, or is it based on
Yeah.
reviews and things of that?
Yeah, so Superhost can depend for a few variation of reasons. So here we are, the fire.
No, it's
That's
not. Is that what? Hold on. Wait a minute, y'all. Let's dive into this right here. Luxury getaway with vibrant fall. Go, girl, watch yourself now. Okay, hold on.
Yep, here we go. Yeah, some tip that I like to share, I'll go back to the Superhost, but we like to share additional photos, not just of the home, but what you can do in the area. As fun as 60 photos of a single house are to look at, to actually show people what there is to do in the area is super beneficial. And I actually have a lot of people ask us, like, where is this at? How far is this from the home? How do I get here? So I think it just shows, multiple peaks of interest and they're not just going to sit at the house all day long during this day. So
True,
you got to give them something else to do.
true. But
But super, go ahead.
no, I'm still just checking out these photos of what I'm seeing, because you grabbed me there, and so again, you know social media, you know social marketing, and you know advertising because of all the other pictures, which were terrible. I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to stop on this one right here, so I'm glad you said that this was the one to be at. So
Yeah. Yeah, photos are everything. We have definitely learned that over a year and a half. Like every time I spot a new opportunity to take updated photos or get our cleaners to take photos, I do. And I also like to, I've been sharing this with some of my followers, but updating those photos every season. So showing someone January, middle of winter photos is not going to help a July vacation book. You know, they have absolutely no idea what it looks like right now, what they can expect. This strategy right here, seen enjoy during your stay on us. So this is something you do with an Airbnb listing. All of these things are in the photos. You'll see a TV, you'll see Wi-Fi is
yeah,
available,
yeah,
you'll see a mug, but people need to be reiterated multiple times as to what you're providing and the value you're bringing. So these were new touches we did a few months ago, showing people how far they are from things and also showing people what we provide on us to show them what they're getting for their booking, right?
oh, that's nice. Okay.
Um, yeah. And the superhost status depends on how quick you are to respond to messages. So a response time as an Airbnb host is super important. Also, it's going to depend on 4+ average star reviews. So you want to, those reviews are reality. They are something you need. You're going to have to prioritize how you're going to get good star reviews, which I can touch on, but it's just the name of the game. You know, you have to look at the reviews and they are a reality, and people will actually leave more reviews than we've ever expected. Airbnb does a great job at reminding you to leave a review every time you have a stay. And you also want to work on that cancellation rate. So you don't want to ever have to cancel a stay, which this is actually the reason why we don't have superhost status, because over a year ago we did cancel a stay, and because of that cancel we now have like a 2% cancellation rate, and it needs to be under 1%.
Got you.
And you do the probability, you need a certain handful of bookings to get under that 2%, 1%. So I'm just dealing with that now. But yeah, it's
Well,
using all of the features Airbnb provides is key with your listing.
I'll tell you what, we've got folks that are chiming in talking about they're coming in the area, hitting Aspen this February, going to need to see what's available. Does it come with the wine? Asking for the wife, Justin.
Yeah, no, we are probably 45 minutes from there. So if you don't want to pay the Aspen price, but you want the Aspen views, we're definitely your house. We definitely prioritize the views. You know, that's the selling point of the home. That's what you're paying for. It's one of the best views you're going to find in within our radiuses. So if you ever want to stay, that's us. We're nearby,
Right
and the
there.
wine I'll provide.
Well, I saw what was it? You were giving free Starbucks coffee bar. You know,
Hmm.
that caught my eye too there. So I'm an early morning guy. I will definitely take advantage of that. I'm already talking like I'm staying there, right? So I'm gonna be booking places right here. Montel is saying here, how do we acquire Airbnb properties, and where is an ideal affordable property to purchase? Excellent question.
Hmm. So that is a great question. There's actually, multiple ways to get into Airbnb and how you're going to acquire that home. So is it going to look like it's your first home and you're going to do that traditional loan with 20% down? Is this going to be your second home where you need to prove that it's a vacation home? So you'll be there for 3 months out of the year to make it, legal for them. There is also a lot of tips and tricks you can use to find what area you're interested in and what's going to produce that ROI. So I do suggest a few, and I wish these were sponsored, but they're not, a few resources. AirDNA is going to show you the average rental rates in each area, which is being pulled from Airbnb and VRBO or Verbo, whichever one you want to call it. And that is helpful for you because seeing those average nightly rates for a town such as Aspen and a town such as Nashville, you are going to be able to see what is that average rate I'm going to be able to book around, and also what is the price difference to invest in those two areas. You can also look on, it's a site called Mashvisor, and Mashvisor is going to show you homes for sale and what the projected income on Airbnb they're going to produce, which is
Wow. Okay.
mind blowing that they can provide that. But they could be providing from past financial statements they have or using data they have in the area. But you can literally now search to buy homes and get an idea of what you're going to be able to put in, receive an income in a year with Airbnb. So these are two sites that are super helpful for locations. I always tell people have 5 to 10 locations you'd be willing to own and buy in, because having that one area, it might just not be the best investment for your ROI in a business decision. So be open-minded to multiple areas. And go to the Airbnb website, actually use the source that you're going to be booking on and hosting on, and look at these different areas. If you're looking at Nashville versus Gatlinburg, Tennessee, what is the average type of home? And, I looked at one time a town in Tennessee, and every house was a 20-person lodge. I personally don't want to own a 20-person lodge.
Yeah.
Like that screams insurance, liability issues. So that was a great way for me to be like, this town is probably doing great for others, but I personally don't think I want to own here. And if every competition is 15 to 20-person houses, buying a 4-person apartment townhouse is not going to probably be the biggest benefit. So use the actual Airbnb platform to your benefit. You can get a lot of pricing insight on this. You can get insights on the type of homes. Do they offer pools, hot tubs, views, amenities near town? These are all things that will help you do initial research to make that good investment.
Awesome. I'm seeing folks know me. See, my family's on, and they know that I do like to travel, and I would prefer to do like an Airbnb than a standard hotel or something. So I'm gonna see if I can get the friends and family. Well, we'll talk about that after the show. But come stay at Zoey's spot, and I'll try not to tear it up or anything.
Yeah.
Let me ask about again just the day-to-day management activities of owning the properties, property management. Do you do it all yourself for the places that you own? What's again a good method for managing all of that for someone who would be coming in after you, someone new coming into the field?
Yeah, so it's good to think about what type of management you want to provide as an Airbnb host. And you can kind of get that idea based on your time and availability. So do you want to, some people, they're like, I don't ever want to talk to a guest. Like this is a business, whoever manages it, they do it. I do suggest if you do the management for the first 1 to 6 months, you are going to learn the most about your home, what the guests want, what you should renovate, what you should add to your home. You need to know your business in and out better than anyone else. Like no one should know it better than yourself. So the management, we do full-time management for 2 properties for our homes, and it literally takes 1 to 5 hours a week. I mean, creating the listing might take an hour and a half, but you only do that one time. Updating the photos might take 40 minutes, but you only update them every 4 times a year during the seasons changing. So it really is not a big workload. What you want to be aware of as an Airbnb host is those inquiries and guest issues come at the most random times, and you will never be able to predict when they come. So we've landed off a flight and someone was calling us, 10 p.m. on a Saturday, I can't find the house. How do I check in? Those are the realities as a host that you're going to have those issues that you have to deal with. It's not a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job, but for the payout Airbnb provides and how little of work you really have to do once you automate your process, I've never seen a job or a side hustle compared to it. But we do have a cleaning team we work with. So when we aren't in the area, we pay them a fixed rate to clean the homes, do any little maintenance. We do try to visit the homes every 3 or 4 months just to check in on things. And if we are in the area or you're looking to purchase in your town, that will save an expense on a monthly basis by cleaning for yourself. But if you are looking to really do this from anywhere in the world or a location, there are tons of people that can help your Airbnb team, so you don't have to be the one doing it.
I love that. I liken a statement that you made as well back to us as content creators, automating your process, right? Because again, if you're trying to do everything manually and you're just haphazard running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you're not able to scale. Right. And if you've got a team behind you, don't try to do it all by yourself. If you got a team behind you, if you got your processes in place, if you got those spreadsheets where you got all your expenses, your debits and credits listed properly, then you know where you're doing, you know where you are, and you know where you're going. So I love the fact that
Mhm.
you stated that. It's something that could be assumed, but it's good for you to actually state that. Um, you mentioned you had another property. Where is that at? Is that also in Colorado as well?
It is. So we chose to have, two are in the same state. We are looking to expand a third out of Colorado. So I do encourage people when you are looking to buy an Airbnb property, at the end of the day, it is your home and
Mm,
hopefully you get to enjoy it. So unless this is a complete business proposition, I would suggest that you look in areas you actually want to visit yourself. And we will be doing that for the third property. We look at areas that we actually enjoy going to, but we know there's a demand for others to visit. And there's also the idea of Airbnb with glamping and traditional homes. So a glamping home may require way less of initial investment, and it can produce pretty similar to what a traditional home will, also produce, which is pretty crazy for the difference of investment levels when you start out. So we will probably go down that route, but you do want to, do the initial research to do that correctly.
yeah. Well, because look, your other spot's a yurt, isn't it? You know what I mean? Your other spot, your other spot is not the traditional home, which I'll put the link to that one as well, so folks can see it. But listen, folks, Zoe is out here doing some things that are just writing her own chapter in the book and giving you guys some tools, giving us all tools and gems in terms of how to move forward effectively from a entrepreneur perspective. And I do believe that the person in particular that was asking about Airbnb hosting is watching live. So hopefully they will answer some questions because I see them happening right here. Let me pivot, go back to primarily on the financial planning side, right? And I
Mhm.
know I asked best practices challenges about finance from an investing side, but talk to people about just that day to day life and what they should not be doing in terms of managing their finances, their funds. Just one, two, or three, just quick best practices or ideas that you can give folks for staying on top of their money.
Yeah, so my number one tip, like I mentioned, is going to be understanding how much you cost and tracking your expenses. Sounds daunting, but it will literally take 15 minutes a month to do and will change your life. That is like the number one way I was able to save and invest more than I expected every single year because I had an idea of where all my money was going before I even got paid. That would be my number one tip. Number two, prepare for emergencies because they're going to happen in anyone's life. We don't know when, but it's going to happen. So 3 to 6 months of your cost of 1 month is great to have in a high yield savings account. So you don't need to keep this in a traditional savings account and basically deflate your money with the rate of inflation, but you can keep it in a high yield savings account and earn interest on that money. And I also like to encourage you because money is something we make to enjoy and not just hoard and save and invest. Think about what are you saving for? What are you investing for? Are you saving for that wedding that's happening in 3 years that you guys are planning? Are you saving for that car you want to own in 5 years? Make it fun for yourself because if you just, hammer on yourself that I have to save this and I have to pay this,
Yes.
it's not going to ever work out for you. You got to pay off the debt and pay off the loans while you also enjoy and save for the fun things in life.
I love that. Thank you for stating that, right? I mean, you can only put so much away. Look, I'm a proponent of investing as well, right? More into your investment accounts, more than you spend, save. But my goodness, man, we don't know what's going to happen in 3 hours from now. I might not be here, right? Hopefully I am. I got to go to the gym, but but you definitely need to enjoy the fruits of your labor. We work to enjoy, right? We work for the vacations and for the family and things like that. So I can't put 99% of it away and not expect to use it until I'm 85 years old. Oh my God. Thank you, Zoe, for stating that right there. Good. I should turn some sound effects on here but I won't do that. Um, Folks, come with your questions. I know we saw a couple come through right now. Let me see. This is here's mom coming through. Let me make sure that I'm being all right. So she says, if I can stay out of restaurants, I could save, but I love to eat and someone cook it. I hear you, mom. Yes, I know, but we still got to save a couple of those dollars and keep them in the purse, as opposed to spending them at wherever we going this weekend. Um, enjoy life though, right?
Hmm.
Don't uh, limit yourself. Those kinds of things. What's next for you, right? In terms of opportunities, and what's next in terms of services that you're offering? I mean, that's probably a loaded question because I mean, you've got a couple of properties. You're looking at acquiring some additional ones. You've got the activities that you're doing with the health and fitness organization that you're doing. So you're doing consulting on
Hmm.
that side. You're doing financial coaching for everyone, getting them right, and having wealth master classes. What's next for you?
Yeah, that is definitely a loaded question. We are definitely expanding some of the services we offer for especially Airbnb. So more in terms of the glamping area. It's a very new area, and glamping requires a lot of different research and questions to be asked before you invest. It's not a traditional home. You have to ask the questions about zoning and permitting and land and if it's legal with the county and what you have to do to make it okay. So we are coming out with a glamping basically 101 for you guys because this is where I saw the most interest was people don't know how to start with glamping. They don't even know what it entails, and it can go anywhere from yurts to teepees to tents to renovated campers. There's so many ways, and you can do this for $50,000 investment versus 400, 500 plus thousand in terms of a home. So more coming about glamping Airbnbs specifically, and we are also looking to expand to a third. We'd love to have 5, 10 Airbnb properties like anyone else would. But it's cool that all of the insight and tips and tricks we give you guys, we are doing ourselves. So when
Mm.
we're looking for properties and land and what to ask and if it's going to be a good investment, all of these sites and tips and tricks I'm sharing, we are doing ourselves. So same thing, we only preach what we actually do. I only teach and coach what I've actually done myself. So more coming about Airbnb, but honestly, it has just started. It has really blown up in the last 2 months or so unexpectedly. So I'm trying to catch up with all of the interest and demand people have at a realistic rate.
Realistic. And so when you say realistic rates, now I was going to ask, would you ever consider bringing a property or owning a property here in California?
Yeah, I would. The only thing is the taxes. I don't
Yeah.
like the California
Uh,
taxes.
uh, again, preaching to the choir here, right? I hear you.
Yeah.
So I think that may be a possible no. Okay. Nevada's not too far. I don't mind driving to
Yep.
Nevada. We can make something happen there too. But that's pretty darn cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more than excited for you, right? I mean, I see what you're
Thank you.
doing, and I think you're doing it the right way. You resonate with the audience, and you listen to the audience. That was one of the early things that you said, right? So that means that you're going to continue to be successful because you're giving the people and your community what they want. How can folks get in contact with you? I know I'm also going to put the links to your website, your TikTok, and your LinkedIn as well. But is there any other place that specifically that folks can get in contact with you to have a conversation?
Yeah, I would say my website is going to be the easiest. So it's just zoeberghoff.com, like you can see. And TikTok and Instagram, it's just at Zoey Berghoff. If you are interested in the Airbnb world, TikTok is my suggestion if you have one, because I share all Airbnb tips and tricks there. And then Instagram, you can expect the same along with some mindset and just living your authentic life tips and tricks as well. So I make it easy for you guys. It's all zoeberghoff.com or just that.
Living your authentic life. That needs to go on a t-shirt. Is that you got a
Yeah.
swag store, like a merch store? You might need to put "Living Your Authentic Life" there in the store there as well. So uh, appreciate it. So you're amazing. I thank you for your time. Where are you physically right now? You in Montana? You are you at the top of a mountain? Looks I've seen you and watched what you do. Where are you at right now? What state are you in, or what country are you in?
Yeah.
Holy smokes! What country are you in?
No, we are in Colorado. We are at
Okay.
8,000 feet right now. So we are on top of a mountain. But we will be traveling in the next 48 hours. So we don't stay put too often.
I love that. I love that. Well, Travel safe, enjoy. Look, thank you again for the time. I will make sure that everyone has the links to your contact information so they can take advantage of the Wealth Masterclass, so they can take advantage of the Airbnb coaching, host coaching that you're providing, because that really is a phenomenal means of the side hustle, of maybe turning that into your primary means of income as well. And the way that you're doing it, you're doing it the right way. And the social accounts. I haven't figured out TikTok. Look, I'm on TikTok, but I I don't get the right stuff when I look at it. We can talk about that later. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I
Yeah.
need someone to help me out with the algorithm. I work in technology and I don't know. So I'll close with this, with a technology question. What is your go-to piece of technology?
My go-to, I would say right now,
Don't say
this.
your phone. Don't say your phone.
All right, I'm gonna not say my phone, and I'm gonna say I definitely think people underestimate the power of what a simple laptop can do for your life and the opportunities it can create. And I wish I wasn't as glued to my computer as I am, but it's created more opportunities than I ever thought possible. So if you see someone sitting behind a computer all day, they're up to something.
Hustling out there. Don't knock it. Ladies and gentlemen,
Exactly.
Zoey Berghoff is in the building. Appreciate you. Safe travels, my
Thank
friend.
you guys. Thank you.
Late.